you can add decimal numbers. Here I've got two whole numbers, 352 plus 478. And you know with whole numbers, you just have to stack them, and you can add each column. Now this works because with a whole number, whole numbers always end with the ones place. And so when you stack these numbers, you know that the ones places are aligned, the tens places are aligned, and the hundreds places are aligned. We don't usually write the decimal points in whole numbers, but if we did write the decimal points, they'd come right after the ones place. So when you stack these numbers, all the place values are automatically aligned. That's the only thing you've got to remember when you are adding decimal numbers. So let's say you're adding 3 and 52 hundredths plus 47 and 8 tenths. Now you can't just stack these and align the 2 and the 8 because those are different place values. So that's where you've got to think about the decimal point. If you can line up the decimal point, that will take care of lining up the other place values. So if I start with the decimal points and then write the 3 and 52 hundredths here, 47 for 7 and 8 tenths. Now the place values are aligned because I've aligned the decimal point. That 2 is actually in the hundredths place right here. And this number doesn't have anything in the hundredths place. That's why there is a blank here. So to make this easier, go ahead and put a 0 in any decimal places that don't have a digit in them, because that's the same as just not having a digit in that place. Now I can add these knowing that my place values are aligned. 2 plus 0 is 2. 5 plus 8 is 13. So I'll write the 3 and carry the 1 into the ones place. 3 plus 7 is 10. Plus another 1 is 11. Carry that 1 to the tens place. And now my sum is 51 and 32 hundredths. I need to align the decimal points so that all the place values are aligned. When you're finding the difference between two decimal numbers, let's take the same numbers, 47 and 8 tenths and 3 and 52 hundredths. You of course have to make sure that the largest number is on top because you can't subtract from a smaller amount. So 47 and 8 tenths on top. Now, to make sure that I align the place values correctly, I'm going to start with this decimal point here to make sure that the decimal points are aligned. And then that 3 wholes, that goes below the 7 wholes. Those numbers are both in the ones place, or the wholes place. Then this place is the tenths place, so 8 tenths minus 5 tenths. Now here in this number, there are no hundredths, but there are 2 hundredths here. So no hundredths here, 2 hundredths here. I'm going to put a 0 in the hundredths place because that's the same as saying no hundredths, just to make our subtraction easier. Now, 0 hundredths minus 2 hundredths, I can't do that, so I have to borrow from a tenth. So instead of 8 tenths, I have 7 tenths. And 10 tenths, or 1 tenth that I'm borrowing, gives me 10 hundredths. So instead of 0 hundredths, now I have 10 hundredths minus 2 hundredths is 8 hundredths. 7 tenths minus 5 tenths is 2 tenths. Now the decimal points are aligned. 7 ones minus 3 ones is 4 ones, and then 4 tens minus 0 tens is 4 tens. So our difference is 44 and 28 hundredths. Make sure that when you are adding and subtracting decimals, you're lining up the decimal points, because that will take care of making sure your place values are aligned and you'll get the correct sums and differences.